Hello everyone, we are live yet again. This is going to be one of my authors chats of the week, and as I keep an eye out for my co-host, I'll just give you a little bit of an update of what's been going on. So coming back from the new year, I've been working on my latest project, which is my dark fantasy. It's a percussion fantasy, D&D meets Witcher, and has 9 POV characters. It's been a lot of fun, and so I've been getting back into writing chapters for that, and just wrapped up the 11th chapter today, so I'm really excited about that. Among other things, I'm gearing up and been working on hiring a whole variety of character artists, cartographers, cover designers for upcoming books. So that's been this week's and last week have been a slew of emails and messages going back and forth as I've been kind of talking to people and securing the various talents I want to incorporate in my upcoming works. So let me keep an eye out. I see you there. Let me see if I can invite you. Invite, there we go. Good things rock and rolling. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Let me see if I can get my camera working. There we go.
So I will pre-warn you because I know the topics we're going to be ending on later, and since one of them is pointing people to find books in a place that's not this platform, we might be suppressed a little bit. But
oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll repurpose this if I can on my YouTube channel, and we'll see how that works too. So just like you know that, in case it's a little strange today, that's because I've tested that out when I've run my own campaigns. So anywho, how are you? How's everything been going?
Great, really good. About a week into the project, and officially a success, and yeah, really excited to finish off strong.
I love that. And for people who aren't aware, tell everybody a little bit about the book that you're trying to fund at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're starting to kick off this book, Evil Eye and Pizza Pie. I love urban fantasy. I've always loved urban fantasy. I like the kitchen sink where every fairy tale you've ever heard, every mythology, every religion is correct, but we just can't see it, or it's hidden, or we learned about it the wrong way. And that's what this is. Evil Eye and Pizza Pie follows a pizzeria on the north side of Chicago, and it is a secret haven for magical beings. So the bartenders are vampires, and the kitchen staff is cooks, and the business manager is a witch. And it's fun because I get to throw absolutely everything that I like into it, and I'm absolutely never going to get bored because we're just going to follow the new coming character right here, Honor Jones, and she's going to just hop around the restaurant doing different jobs as each book unfolds.
That's really neat. And how many in the series? Because now you're saying each book, so it must be a series. So
I really love feedback from readers. I have a great group of readers. I have a newsletter list, and they have named themselves the Zed Heads. They're hilarious. Shout out to my fellow Zed Heads out there. And they let me know. They let me know what they want more of. They let me know when they're mad about cliffhangers. They let me know all of that good stuff. So I have many possible arcs planned. In my current arc, it's going to be 4 books that I have completely plotted out. And where we go from there, there are lots of different directions. There are a lot of places in the restaurant where she can work. There are a lot of things that can happen to the restaurant. And so I'm going to get us to book 4. We're going to let people give their feedback, find out what characters need to be expanded upon, what are the secondary characters everyone loves and wants more of. what we want less of, and I'm going to listen and I'm going to follow their lead.
Hey, I love that. I was going to say, being very engaging with your readership can not only build that sense of community and those kind of bonds between writer and reader, but also bolsters that interest for your books, and then hopefully that translates into more sales and people chatting about it, which means better word of mouth, which one of the best, nicest ways to spread if the word that you have this awesome book and this awesome series is just by organic word of mouth. So that
Totally.
all of that.
And congratulations, I know you just did a similar funding campaign, and I feel like it allows it to become our book and our book launch rather than just my book and let me tell you about my book. You can be a part of it. There's a special edition if you sign up onto mine. We're going to vote on the name of the next book. I have like 3 or 4 possible names, and we're gonna vote, and we're gonna pick out the one that people think is the most fun. So I absolutely love my readers, and I love involving them.
I was going to say, I think that's the greatest things, and you're very trusting, because all I can think of is that whole Bodie McBoat face scenario. Yep. And because there's always going to be someone out there that's going to just pitch that,
Yep. Totally. Well, they picked this. We had 3 possible covers to start off. And this is the guy that won. This is the one that people wanted.
Oh, nice. I like that. That is really neat. And again, finding different ways to build and incorporate your fandom in your work is amazing. One of the things that I have been doing, working toward the project that I'm finally getting a chance to write, since I always come up with ideas years in advance. I don't know about you, but that's just how it works for me. And so one of my readers groups, I have them annually, we co-create a monster or magical creature being that will be inserted into this future book series. So it's been a lot of fun because everybody kind of feels they have a piece of that pie. They're invested, they are excited, they're part of that creating process. So that is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's great. I love it when they get to be as creative as me, because at the end of the day, they're the people I'm telling stories to.
Yeah. So where did this story come from? Like, what inspired your latest adventure?
Well, honestly, it was a little bit of write what you know. I have worked in many, many different restaurants in my day, and specifically really enjoyed the couple of pizza restaurants that I worked at in the kitchen. And there's just something very simple about making pizzas. I don't think it's not a Michelin star restaurant where a reader's not going to be able to keep up with what's happening. You can explain trying to make these pizzas in time, getting hit with the dinner rush and all of this. So we can do the drama of the kitchen. We can do the bear. We do the FX is the bear. We do that. That's happening. They are running this restaurant while things are going wrong the way a restaurant does. But also, every single book, there is some sort of curse that someone has and goes to the resident curse breaker, who is our restaurateur, our owner and GM. And he is Ted Balthazar. And he is a curmudgeon and often drunk. And he can't stand lifting curses, but it is his lot in life. So I got to bring all of my experience working in kitchens and working in restaurants and add the drama of that mixed in with the magic of, creativity and researching and deep diving into all these really cool myths, legends, folks tales.
I think that is very neat. And I do love your term, the kitchen sink, where you put all sorts of things in there. My young adult isekai series, Portal Fantasy, is kind of like that. And I just grabbed all sorts of mythos from all over and inspired various worlds in this multiverse. And it's just a lot of fun. And as writers, especially people who write fantasy or sci-fi, the world is our oyster, and you just have to crack it open and see what pearls you may find.
Totally, totally. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's stories that have been told for generations and generations. And I mean, sometimes it's just tough not to get stuck in a research hole and actually get the writing done, because some of this stuff is amazing to look up and read about.
So what has been one of your favorite or most quirky things that you researched in order to write this first book for the series?
So different types of dwarves and trolls. I knew that I wanted a small humanoid mythological being that worked in the kitchen. Specifically, I wanted one that was French, to bring French baking into the making the pizza sauce, the saucier. And I did a deep dive into French cryptozoology, if you will.
Okay.
And there's something called jettin, Jettin, and they are small humanoid creatures, sometimes thought of as fae beings, sometimes thought of as trolls, sometimes thought of as dwarves. And they live in the cliffs on the coast of France, and they launch boulders at the ships passing by. And that's what they're known for. And so they're these incredibly strong, tiny people. And I took that, mixed it with a pompous French cook who thinks he knows what he's doing better than anyone else in the kitchen. And we came up with a jetin named Sansu the saucier, and he makes the pizza sauce.
I think that is so much fun. I did note the jetin because I actually do not familiar of this particular creature, and I love featuring all kind of mythological creatures on.
I love your deep dives. I love your creature deep dives.
So you've inspired one of them. It'll happen
Excellent.
at some point. I have like a list for the next few months, but I will definitely be inserting this one in there because that is really neat. And it's fun now. I know that someone actually has utilized the jetin in their book, so that's great.
Yeah, there's so many, because you really don't think about, the time before phone and internet and television, and word of mouth happens, and generation upon generation, and people are in these little enclaves and villages, and you get folklore. Like I was in a small enough town growing up that there was an abandoned house that was overgrown, and everyone declared it the witch's house. And people would dare each other to go to the witch's house. And I remember I went with my sister and a friend, and the friend went up and touched the house and came back and said he had a cat claw across his hand from where the ghost of the witch protecting the house got out of him. And I just think, put that in a time where, there was no media. You're just going to get very, very specific tales that are in these tiny little villages and just these little bubbles. And there are just so many. It's an infinite amount.
Oh, yes. And that's one of those things. Like, if you really love looking into myths and legends and folklore and fables and what have you, and even fairy tales, there are so many regional differences and, not just culture, but like little pockets. I mean, the Cinderella, I think Cinderella is the big one, where if you look, and they have like hundreds of original versions to it, just depending on, again, what particular community was telling that tale. And some of them are more familiar, and then others are drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of cool. Now, with this series also, and then we'll talk about your campaign a little bit, but with this series, are you envisioning each book to be focusing on the same pizzeria, or are they going to deal with other businesses, other restaurants,
So this is going to be following Zero's Pizzeria and Bar. That's going to be the home base of everything. And one thing about this series is it is going to be cozy adjacent. It's going to be kind of cozy. Like the stakes are going to be keeping the restaurant intact, keeping the staff safe, keeping that found family okay.
Yep.
They're going to venture out. They're in Chicago. There's going to be tons of places to go. There's a fortune teller down the block who despises Zero's Pizzeria because she doesn't feel like she was invited. There are a couple of rival pizzerias, one that's just nearby that has taken some of their staff in the past. And then there's another hugely successful pizzeria that is magical and actually kind of takes advantage of their clients by casting spells over them and unbeknownst to them. But we're going to follow Zero's Pizzeria, which is the family owned pizzeria of Ted Balthazar here. And he is going to try to keep this thing afloat as he is dealing with not only the problems of being a curse lifter in Chicago, but also trying to run a small business and restaurant in Chicago.
For me, that sounds like a very cozy style fantasy with, again, you have stakes, but they're on the lower side versus, universe ending side of things. And people really love, those kind of stories. And I see the comment, Zero's Pizza. Did you name it after Zero the hero?
Zero the hero is my dog.
I love
he
that.
is a black lab basset hound mix. So if you take the picture of a black lab, so picture a black lab, now click the corner, and instead of going diagonal to shrink it, just move it directly up to squish it. And when you have a nice squished picture of a black lab, that is my dog, Zero. And yes, we have named Zero's Pizzeria and Bar after Zero.
That is wonderful. I think that's great. As a animal lover and dog owner, I think that is fantastic. And it's one of those little Easter eggs that your fandom will love to know when they're like, we know something you don't know, because they get to chat with you and meet you personally, be it at face-to-face events or just over on these kind of platforms like Book Talk. And that is really kind of cool. Have you stuck other Easter eggs in your book? I qualify this as one of them. If someone knows you and knows, there's a connection, possibly.
Well, one of the big ones, and it was something that we actually discussed in my newsletter with the Zed heads, is for years my wife and I were putting together plans to open a pizzeria. So we had an idea of the style of pizza. We were going to do Chicago pizza meets New Haven pizza, which is like Northern East Coast pizza. And it's a very distinct style. From around your neck of the woods, there's a chain called Mellow Mushroom, which is big, chunky toppings. And they do the garlic butter around the crust. And I liked that. And we really put together... we never got to a business plan, but that was ultimately one of the ideas, is we were going to get someplace financially comfortable and open Zero's Pizzeria. We really looked into the realities of it and procuring money for it and what it would cost and being in the red for a couple of years. And honestly, we didn't want the headache, the amount of stress and pressure that comes with it. And seeing friends of ours who have done that and fallen out of business, and it did succeed for a little bit and then it didn't, and all of these kinds of things. So we took all of that planning and know-how and put it into Zero's Pizzeria here. So they have a very specific menu that is already thought out. They have a style of pizza that scratches the itch of those of you that know Chicago pizza. And we describe the toppings. There's a white night pizza, which is instead of red sauce, it's garlic and olive oil with tons of cheese and gyro meat. So instead of a hero, it's a gyro. and it is the White Knight pizza. And so there are all of these, and I think every single book is going to have a couple of very specific things from our plans on opening our own pizzeria.
Well, here's another question going off that one. Have you considered, or will you consider actually being able to write your own recipes and being able to give them out to, your super fans and everything?
Well, let me just say, I know this is on backwards, but if you were to find this campaign on places where starts are kicked,
yep.
The special edition that is going out to backers has Sansu the Jetin's pizza sauce recipe. It is a real pizza sauce recipe. We tried it with a couple of we stole from some popular recipes, what we liked, what we didn't like, especially what we like about Chicago style pizza sauces. And yes, that is one of the bonus. That was the first stretch goal that we hit. Everyone is getting a prequel novella about how Ted inherited Zero's Pizzeria. Everyone is getting the Sansu pizza sauce recipe. And as a little dramatis personae character list at the beginning, you're getting the evening's staff schedule. So you can flip back and see the staff working Zero's Pizzeria that night.
That is wild. I think that is so much fun. And that's one of those things that I was going to get into, are like when you're able to support someone who's funding their book and, on a platform like that, all the little extras and all those perks that may be exclusive there are really, again, immersive and entertaining, and in your case, probably delectable. That is really cool. So what are some of the things you're offering outside of the fact that you're trying to launch a book? So do you have ebooks and paperback and hardcover? What are you giving out in your campaign?
One thing that I will say that is, sacrilege in book talk and the book collecting and reading community is I myself am not a special editions guy. I'm just not. I abuse the books that I read. There's some people in the comments that actually know this about me, that I crack spines and I dog ear pages and I do things to books that make people clutch their pearls. But I know that I'm not the norm. There are people that love their special editions and their exclusive editions. So one thing that we did is you can do a straight up wide release version of the paperback, and that is a different tier. And then you get all of the bells and whistles for the exclusive kick and then started edition, and that's going to have all of our fun little recipes and extra content in those. Coming up next is going to be a type of graphic that people are going to be able to vote on as far as art or graphics added to the books. And then you get one thing that I am so excited about, and I should start receiving some of these things, is we are doing a book box. And I take my book boxes very seriously. I love putting together interesting book boxes. And I don't want to give everything away, but I will say I am finding a book box that is going to be in the shape of a pizza delivery box.
Yes.
And then what is it? I'll go ahead and say I have been designing a bookmark that is reminiscent of everyone else's favorite collaboration of books and pizza, Book It. So those are some fun things. If you happen to have a book club or a bookstore, one thing that I do offer, and this one is a hidden tier, a reward tier, so you would have to message me if you're interested, is you can buy these books in bulk. And we
Hmm.
do it with a retail discount. My local bookstore, I'm actually repping them right now, is Bookies. Should I buy more books? Yes, no. Uh, Bookies has been kind enough, and then out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, Studio Moonfall, which is a wonderful bookstore that supports indies.
Mhm.
They've already opted in, and so we are filling their shelves with what would be a normal retail discount. But I'm willing to do that for book clubs as well. So if you want to get four of your friends together and buddy read this, if you have more people in that and some of them are on e-reader, then go ahead and message me and we can make that happen at a pretty sweet discount.
That's great, and I love that because I was gonna say I know that there are those hidden tiers, but I've never heard of someone utilizing them. I've always wondered how someone would be able to use that efficiently, and that's a great one where you can have that bulk buy special deal, but you have to message the creator.
There we go. We did have one other really top notch prize, and I'm going to show it off, but it's me being really mean because we sold out of them.
Yeah.
And
Oh, but that's great. That means people really love them. Yes,
so
you're.
that's this beautiful thing. This is actually from my previous series, my complete trilogy, The Angels of New York State.
Mhm.
And this, we call this the Book of Fate. I met somebody at a local Comic Con, and they made lots of D&D gear, like lots of
Mhm.
dice bags and things like that. And then for like a Dungeon Master's Guide, he made slip covers, and it had this beautiful glass eye. And so I went up to him, and I'm like, "Hey, I love your work. Have you ever done a paperback or a hardback?"
Mhm.
He's like, "No, but I think I could." And I was nowhere near finished with the series then. And so what I did was I wrote into the book that they had to find a book of fate to tell them about the Greek fates and their powers and their strengths and their weaknesses, and that it's bound in human skin. And
Mhm.
inset is the eye of the Weird Sisters. And you might remember the Weird Sisters from the cartoon Hercules, the three sisters that share an eyeball.
Mhm.
And this is the book within the book. And so by the time it came out, it was already perfectly described, starting in book 2 and book 3, as they have to physically find it. And then we put all 3 books plus a prequel novella in this, and then filled it with fun character art
That's so cool.
just for starting the kick.
I remember way back, it's been a moment, when you were working on developing that book and you had just, I think, received your prototype, and that was one of those kind of one of the most stunning books that I've seen. And I know you say you don't like special editions, but like that one is still probably my favorite because it is so unique and definitely eye-catching for any special edition I've seen.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm extremely lucky. They're all handmade. I'm still good friends with the guy. And in my mind, I am figuring out how, if not the series, then these first 4 books of this series, this first arc that I do have planned, how that could fit together in one solid tome and what that would look like. And maybe that book in and of itself becomes a part of this story. And we're, by the way, I haven't said it yet. We are calling the series Nightly Pizza Specials because in this world, specials is the term for magical beings versus
I love that.
normies. So yeah, so Nightly Pizza Specials. And to answer a question down in the comments, I don't know how long this series will go. I know of 4 books that I have planned. I have a general idea of getting up to 12, but I really want to listen to the readers and see what the Zed heads have to say.
Yeah, and if you missed the beginning of this chat, what was covered was the fact that there will be some kind of poll, you said, towards the end, I guess, of that arc to see where people want the story to go. So that is really cool, being able to, be a part of this writing process. And maybe
and I
your
love
favorite character will take the lead. Who knows?
Well, I mean, how many times have you, either you reading or you hearing from readers, there's just this love for a secondary character. And the
Mhm.
secondary character might not have been a huge idea for the writer. Maybe it was just a means to an end. Maybe for me, they needed someone that was very good at magic to try to lift a curse in this story. So one of the busboys is literally a sorcerer's apprentice.
I love it.
And as I've written, his name is Mark, and as I have written more of Mark, I absolutely fell in love with Mark. The business manager of Zero's Pizzeria is a witch who has my favorite name that I have come up with, Mavis Davis. And Mavis Davis is a very, very powerful white witch. And at first it was a means to an end, but I could easily see people wanting more of this. So, I'm going to get through these first 4 books and see if people want more Mark, more Mavis Davis, more werewolf bouncer, more vampire bartender.
I think that's a lot of fun. And you can always, there are so many things that people can engage with. If you're doing character art, which character art? If there's a scene, what scene? But yeah, I love this idea of being able to kind of actually truly get involved with where the story may end up. And you never know. One of the things that I did last year, just to play around, and maybe something you might enjoy, it sounds like your newsletter group is pretty active, is that I utilize MailerLite as the can't even think of the term right now. It's okay. It's only a Tuesday. I use MailerLite. And I know recently they had like their updated version, and in it started being able to allow a lot more features like polling and questionnaires and trivia, and you can insert whatever you want. And so what I did last year is I utilized that, and every month we co-wrote a story. So I pitched out a little idea, and then I gave you 4 different characters, and then they voted whichever character was the top one, which ended up being a wizard who was allergic to magic. And and so then I wrote a little bit more, and then asked another question, and then they built the story that spanned throughout the whole year. We wrapped it up in December, but it's just kind of, again, that kind of fun engagement thing. You never know what's going to happen because I can't plan for what people are going to choose.
Oh, absolutely. It's great. For my last campaign for a previous book, I was positive that I knew what people would want for a stretch goal. And so I made it an option, and I said, do you want a deleted scene, which I absolutely thought everyone would want. I'm like, do you want this deleted scene where this magical character interacts with this one and this one guy gets punched in the face? Do you want this? Or do you want my playlists for each book in the series that I wrote to and that you can listen to while you read? And it was unanimous. Everyone wanted the playlist. And I was flabbergasted. I said, I mean, if that's what you want, then 100% sure. Take it. I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, the readers can surprise you. I think oftentimes we don't see the trees for the forest because we're kind of dug in and we're in the middle of it, and we're not always positive what our projects can look like from the outside.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that with our upcoming stretch goal. I think we're just about at $1,100. And when we get to $1,500, that we're going to let people pick what the next goodie, what the next graphic that we add to those special editions. And I look forward to being surprised again.
Yeah, you never know. And it may even show you that a character that you never would have thought is going to be potentially a favorite in this go around, because you never know.
Yep.
But yeah, that is really neat. And so for anybody who doesn't know, how many times have you launched a book through this means?
This is the second time. The first time was a third in a series, and it was immensely successful. We did 1,400 off of a $300 goal.
That's that's a nice one.
Right? And one thing that was very advantageous is being able to sell a complete series.
Yes.
Saying, do you want all 3 books as the higher tier rewards? I actually found it was a little hard to think of rewards when I was doing a book 1. So this is my second attempt at starting to kick off a book campaign. But I mean, we're already successful. Out of the 400 goal, we're already at 1,100, and we still have, I want to say, 18 days left.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and this is my experience, but I've also been able to talk with people who are in the higher rungs of starting to kick that focus on books. One of them is this woman who's actually the head of all bookish campaigns. And
yes.
And so she is very, interesting. And, talking with these kind of people, and there is that kind of, there's a formula. It's like, obviously the first few days are like going to be your biggest spike, and then you hit that lull. And then toward the end, there's a bunch of big scramble because everybody wants to, update and upgrade and join in before it ends and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that you're technically in your lull, but still sounds like you're still doing well is great. So keep it going. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I did the same thing. I found a free course online. I read a book, and then I actually went to an event where I believe I'm thinking of the same person that you're thinking of was speaking, and I got to ask a couple of questions there. And I tried to play to what seems like the strengths of the platform and the averages. And one thing that I will say immediately is the average backer, I think I have zeroed in on some really fun rewards, and backers are getting more out of it than they were my first. It was kind of like an all or nothing kind of thing. Like, do you want all of the bells and whistles or just the one? And I think with this one, you really can. You just want to dip your toe in. You just want the paperback with plain Jane, or do you want to go all out and open up a pizza box from Zero's Pizzeria and get all kinds of lovely items? So yeah, it's been great learning the platform.
Yeah, because I do think personal experience, and especially from a lot of people who I know who do phenomenally on that. It's a great way to go for publishing, independent publishing, being able to reach a whole new set of readers, be able to allow your own readership to engage in new and different ways, and like you're doing is being part of the process, and just allow them to feel that they're being able to help create, even if it's just through financially being able to support you in order to help create your book and series and go from there. So that is kind of cool. So outside of, I know we've been kind of focusing on, which was the intent, to talk a little bit about your upcoming book launch. Are you doing any face-to-face events around the area? Are you doing any, thing that people can meet you and get signed copies from you from your earlier series this year? Anything planned?
Yeah, I have. Honestly, I always have too many planned. I am lucky enough. I am on the south side of Chicago, and there are just absolutely tons of in-person events. It is a lull right now. We are, at the end of last year's season, and this year's season hasn't really gotten going.
Yeah.
My first one that I do have planned, that I already have booked, is in May. There's going to be Read local authors in Evergreen Park, and I'll be signing and slinging like I always do. And they're going to have, they're kind enough to host me for a reading of this one as well. All of the nearby libraries are extremely supportive, and I always do items at Oak Lawn Library in Orland Park. Oak Lawn Library in April and May, I'm going to be teaching a writing intensive workshop that's going to, I believe it meets every 3 weeks. And there's going to be a little bit of writing prompts and critiques and fun stuff like that. But honestly, if you find something on the south side of Chicago where authors are going to be, there is a solid chance that you're going to run into me.
That is fun. And yeah, I have to say, Chicago's one of those cities that I've yet to go to. My husband wants to go back. He spent a summer there and loved it. So one day I'll make the not so large trek, but a trek up that way so I can actually experience that city, because everybody says they love it.
Have you done the Conyers Book Festival? Because you have a fantastic book festival that's, I believe, not super far from you.
I looked into it, but I think its date always clashes, or has often clashed, with one of the other events. And I don't remember if this was Jordan Con or Dragon Con, but it was one of the other events. I can't remember what time of year that festival was. Now, if they ever decide not to be on the same date, that would be really cool.
Nice. I highly recommend that one. That's a fun one in your neck of the woods.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember last time you had mentioned that you, on occasion, pop down to that event too.
I do. I don't think I am making it this year, but I make it when I can.
Mm-hmm. Well, travel. Again, it goes back to travel, and it's the time and energy and all that kind of stuff. And yes, that as well. So hopefully your launch will be super successful, and then
There we go.
Yeah. Wherever you want to go next, you know? I love that. And I don't know to whom that is questioning. Let's see, that would be epic. How far away is that from you?
These there are some very supportive folks in the comments that are threatening to come to my book release party. We will be doing a book release party. I don't have the date nailed down yet. The official release of this book is going to be in May. I just don't know when exactly it is. It is going to be at my local bookstore, Bookies, in Chicago. I absolutely love these guys. They've always been very, very supportive of me. But we're going to go all out for this book event. I'm going to somehow figure out a way. I want to set up a table with chairs that you can get a photo at that makes you feel like you're at Zero's Pizzeria. In the middle of a bookstore, I want the red and white checkered tablecloth.
Yes.
I want a light with a green glass lampshade, and then I want Chicago sports memorabilia on wood paneling behind it. I want to do the whole.
This is a weird one. I don't know if this is but some people create those wish lists from the Zon, and be it the books or whatever. But if you had like this is my wish list for my book signing event list, and you never know.
That's not bad. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. Just throwing it out there. You never know. You may end up getting a delivery of all these kind of checkered tablecloths.
Perfect. I'll take it.
That would be hysterical. Oh, man. I love that. And so let me also ask you, since we're hurrying up through the hour, and this is where everything kind of picks up, plus because I do try to repurpose these chats on my YouTube channel, so other people can kind of find and follow you. I'll put all your content information down below. But outside of the fact that you have your campaign going on for your current book, where can people get your other book? Is it exclusive through Zon? Do you sell direct? Is it wide? What formats are your first trilogy? Plus,
we are exclusive through Amazon, through KU, and you can get. I mean, I have entirely too many books. Also, I think this is a problem that you have.
Oh, yeah.
I have entirely too many books here. But the completed trilogy, which was my last one, which is The Angels of New York
Yeah, because
State.
that was one we talked a lot about last time.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And you can go read those individually, or those are also collected. I also have the audiobook of both that one and my middle grade sci-fi called Chase the Boy Who Hid. And that is also, that is wherever you like to get your audiobooks. And then I do sell direct at jeffriesbooks.com.
There you go. Perfect. I love that. I love buying direct from authors because, one, I liked selling my books directly to people, but getting a chance to potentially get my book signed by that person, that's awesome.
Right,
So I love
right.
when people do that.
I've learned this from an artist friend of mine. I sign the books, but I have like a little like graffiti art that I add around it just to say thank you and to say I'm so touched that it would mean something to someone else that I just want to make it as special as I can for them.
Oh, that's so perfect. That is great. And another question I always want to make sure I ask is outside of book talk, because clearly you're here. Where else can people find and follow you? You did mention that you have your active newsletter. You mentioned your website. Are you on any other socials? And if so, which ones?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and then on TikTok. And everywhere I am Zachary Jeffries Books.
That's perfect. Yes, you do better. I am the one who always does everything wrong the first time. And I bounce between two ways because I was trying to debate, do I put my middle initial in or not? So they're very close. Searchable, yes. But they are slightly different depending on which social. And I was, after the fact, was like, you know what? That was not the smartest thing. Branding.
No,
branding.
I had to go back and fix it. I also was the same. I organically discovered all of these platforms, and sometimes it was Jeffries Books, and sometimes it was Z Jeffries or Zachary, but I eventually managed to get them all uniform.
Perfect. Maybe one day I will have the wherewithal and energy to do that.
Takes a lot of energy.
Between everything else that's going on. And, just life. But let me ask, since you do have a chatty group here tonight, if anybody out listening has any questions for either one of us or both of us, feel free to ask. This could be questions about the upcoming story, and maybe you'll get your answer. Maybe you'll be told to wait and see, but this is that time. And also for you, Zachary, is there questions you wanted to ask or topics you wanted to cover that we haven't covered so far?
No, well, first off, I want to say I really appreciate your channel and how you use your platform to help other indie authors. I think it's lovely. I love, you just talked to a buddy of mine, D'Artagnan Johnson, and I love his stuff. He is a great writer, and I love supporting him when I can. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching it now, like and subscribe and do all of the things and comment so that this can positively affect more readers and writers out there. I love the little short couple minute deep dives into creatures from different mythologies and stuff like that. And so let's keep those coming. I love those.
Well, thank you for that, because it is one of those things that I think there are so many authors out there. I can't speak for us all, but there are so many writers and authors out there that have had such great experiences from people, offering them the right advice when they need it, or the right help or platform to speak on. And so those that can, I think, do try to find ways to give back. And so being able to just chat with authors like you, for me, is not only a lot of fun, and I'm constantly learning things, so I'm getting something out of it, I will admit. There is no hiding that. But it's also just nice because, looking at the various stages of my author career and wondering where it's going to go from here. But I'm so appreciative when other people have helped me out. So that's one of the things. I just love to be able to share the word of the book.
Right.
I love it. And I'm trying to peek and see if any questions came in while we were talking. One was, does the pizzeria serve Hawaiian? Uh-oh.
This
Let's
is
see.
great. I love this so much. So, in my previous Angels of New York State, there was a very small comment about someone liking Hawaiian pizza. And I got so much reader feedback about this, about yes, it's great, or no, it's awful and it's an abomination. And so I made sure, that was in the first book, so I made sure in each of the following books that every character had an opinion, whether it was pro or against. It is such a sticking point in something that is, generally speaking, universally loved. Pizza is one of those perfect foods. The only people that I know that don't love pizza have a dietary restriction that prevents them from loving pizza. And the fact that there is such a divisive issue, I can't just throw out an answer. This isn't a simple yes or no. This might be the crux of an entire book. This might be a can of worms. This might be a Pandora's box that once it is opened, it cannot again be sealed. So I am waiting for the right time to address Hawaiian pizza. And I will tell you, me personally, the human being here, not the person who is putting these concepts into a book. You take pineapple and bacon and jalapeno, and that is the acceptable Hawaiian pizza. If it's ham or Canadian bacon, I'm not wild about it.
I will say, bacon elevates pretty much anything. So, just a little bias there, but I can agree on that one. And all I could be thinking when you were talking was, well, there's another poll for your.
Exactly. I think that's a really good idea. Maybe I'll leave it up to the Zed heads to find out what each character's opinion on Hawaiian pizza is.
That would be kind of fun to see.
Nice. I like it. I dig it.
I like that a lot. Okay, I did see another question, and this one to me, thank you. Asking about the Jed Chronicles. Yeah, so the Jed Chronicles, I'll tell you. Making sure that my room is not terribly. I'm resetting up. This is my new office. So the Jed Chronicles right here, I have 5 books right now, and the 6th book will be released later this year. This is a young adult isekai, also known as portal fantasy, set in a magical multiverse. It's one that was inspired by a lot of characters and backstories that my sister and I kind of co-created in our childhood play. And so obviously updating them, but I put my childhood alter ego as one of the characters in there. And it is that just kind of fun, whimsical, quintessential fantasy full of everything you want. We have grumpy dragons, elves that are obsessed with sandwiches, all the way to shadow monstrosities, cybernetic creatures, and the list goes on. And it's been a lot of fun to write, and it is my brightest, lightest book series, so to speak, because I do list to the darker fantasy for a lot more of my adult and new adult work. So that's one version summary of that series. It's hard when you write a longer series, like if someone asks you that question, there's so many things. I'm like, I want to cover this. I want to talk about that. Don't forget this. And it's just, there's a lot.
Yeah. It's tough to get it down to one pitch, and you can't really move it past the first book because you gotta get them in that first book.
Yes. Of course, every so often I'll like tease in a little bit, but it's so subtle and aloof that unless someone really is paying attention and memorizes my exact pitch, they might not notice.
Nice.
Just on occasion. Okay, other questions. Does any of your other characters / creatures dip pizza and ranch dressing? Wow, we have a lot of these kind of like debatable questions here.
This is another moment where I would say that me personally, my opinion does not reflect the opinion of the characters. I myself do not. I am not a ranch guy. Also, I will say that I am married into a family from Buffalo, New York. And so we are very strictly a blue cheese family. But I will tell you this. This guy is Midwestern. This guy, born and raised in Chicago, Ted Balthazar, absolutely dips his crusts in ranch when he finishes his pizza.
There you go. There's the answer. See, for me, I feel like just a nice garlic butter sauce is the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's me. That's me. I love me some ranch and everything for other things, but for when it comes to pizza crust, just a garlic butter. That's just super.
I dig it. I dig it. No, and that's one of the things about writing so many different characters that are going to be in this place where everyone breathes, sleeps, eats pizza constantly, is everyone's going to have completely different opinions. And this is making for a very difficult series Bible that I am going to have to keep track of, that Ted likes to dip his in ranch, and that Honor believes that they use too much garlic in the garlic butter on the crust. And so all of these things are going to have to be tracked so they can stay consistent and everyone can have their very important opinions on pizza.
Of course. Now, actually, for the writing side of things, are you jumping around for POVs between characters? And if so, how many POV characters are you utilizing in this particular story?
I'm sticking to dual POV characters. So it's these two right here. And I really like that. I've done 2 plus the antagonist before, and that was a lot of fun for my previous series. I know that I believe you don't venture into romance. Is that correct?
Not traditionally speaking, no. I do have a book, though. I was hoping to release it this year. I think it's going to be more slated to the beginning of 2027 because I have too many other projects in line. That will be a standalone dark romantic fantasy, but not still full romance, and not on the spice level by any means or anything like that. But yeah, so I don't really dabble with that. I'm more into the action, adventure, and what have you on that side of things.
Nice. I can't write without romance. Every single time, if it's a long format story, if it's anything beyond a novella or a short story, romance just seeps into it no matter what. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a very slow burn romance. I almost am tempted not to even call it a slow burn romance because it's not happening in the first book. In the first book, someone is going to admit that they are attracted to the other person, but that's as far as it goes.
It's a lukewarm.
Yes.
We're not even at the burning stage. It's lukewarm.
Sloth slow. And even when we get there, this is an adult series. I kind of have to say that because I've written so much YA, but it's just urban fantasy. There's not going to be spice. The spice level is going to be, 1 where people have feelings and they are attracted, but there's not going to be descriptions of anything. And that's fine. Like I read spicy stuff myself. I just can't write it without getting extremely embarrassed. And I imagine releasing it I would just be beat red walking down the street 24 hours a day. So,
sorry. Yes.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, in that sense, yes. I was going to say, I think most stories, once the characters hit a certain age and stage, there is some level of romance in there because romance is a slice of life. Now, the question is that romance the main plot, which it's not really in any of mine outside of this upcoming standalone, why I don't qualify them as romance. But there are characters that have romantic feelings, have relationships, in all my books, because that's just part of life. So I can get that when what you're saying is this kind of slow simmering, lukewarm, slow build relationship going to be sprouting between your two characters. And that's a thing that I think a lot of readers love. They love love. Yeah. They want people to end up happily.
Yeah, totally. And it's really fun, specifically with the dual POV. We have this guy's just very business centric. He is very, very focused on keeping his staff safe and employed. He doesn't like specials coming in as clients. He likes to keep them out. He keeps wards on the doors to make sure that no one would come in, because it endangers his staff. And he doesn't want that. He doesn't want a vampire hunter to show up. He doesn't want a werewolf hunter showing up anywhere. And on the other hand, this is a young woman who she has a mysterious power of her own that has unfortunately left her very unemployable. So she is kind of always looking out for herself, and that's where her focus is. And it's very, very fun to have two characters of completely different focuses going through a lot of the same scenes and popping back and forth, and them seeing the exact same thing in just stark different ways. Of him seeing her walk in, and she just got out of a job interview and she's wearing the best clothes that she could borrow for this. And he thinks that she is this stuck-up rich girl from downtown Chicago slumming it at his place. And then she walks past him and she couldn't think less of him. She's so focused on what she has to do there that she barely notices this lumbersexual looking gentleman that she has walked by. And that playfulness is just fun to drag out. And it's going to be even more fun when there's yearning there. But they're still dealing with what they have to deal with. They're going to be dealing with the business, and they're going to be dealing with lifting whatever the curse of the week is.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love the layers. We're talking about a pizzeria, but don't forget there's curses, vampires, and a whole lot of other things that are going on behind the scenes as well. So why don't you, since we've hit the end of the hour and I just heard my dogs running upstairs, which means it's probably about time to let them out at that 8 o'clock hour. But why don't you remind everybody how long your campaign is currently available, and just if there's any other last words you want to say about your project.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you jump up and search where people kick and then start, the campaign is Evil Eye and Pizza Pie. And if you just type in Evil Eye, it'll be the only thing that is currently running that will show up. That campaign is going through the end of January. We will have a week of late pledges after that. But the fun stuff that's going to allow you to vote for what you like for stretch goals and what you want in these fun additions, that's going to be through the end of January. Again, Evil Eye and Pizza Pie.
That is so much fun. I love that title. So kudos and congrats to everybody who helped select that one, because that one is a lot of fun.
Thank you. It finds the right people, and I think it to a big point, it kind of sells itself.
Yeah, and that's what you want. That makes that perfect title, and that goes well with the perfect cover. So I love that. But thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a lot of fun catching up with you, hearing about your new work and its success so far, which congratulations on, and I hope it's even more successful over the next span until the end of the month. And definitely want to be keeping an eye on Evil Eye.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations on all of your success. And thank you again for having such a great platform for readers and writers to come together and discover new stories together. Well,
we will be keeping in touch, I assure you, and we'll plan another one of these, hopefully in the not too near future this time. But I do have to run because my dogs are now dancing upstairs. Thank you, everyone. Happy reading, and have a wonderful rest of your night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world.